Okay, we have left Prevost Harbor and we're going to head south between Stuart Island and Johns Island through Johns Pass. Johns Island is on the left, Stuart Island is on the right. Sorry about the slightly crooked picture. I think I had the mount off a little bit. Plus, it's a long, slow left-hand turn, so the boat is naturally banking a little bit. Now we're beginning to straighten out a little. And headed through Johns Pass down into what's called the New Channel between Speeden and Johns Island. And Cactus Island and Flat Top Island and a whole bunch more of them. I haven't been through here for a long time. And I know there's another reef up here somewhere, a detached reef way the heck out away from shore. So I am watching for it pretty careful. I'm cruising about 20 miles an hour. That's Speeden Island over to the right a little bit. Still watching for that pesky reef. It is naturally marked. It's surrounded by a pretty good barrier of bull kelp. Okay. Where is that pesky devil? Oop, there it is. Okay, time for a little course change here. Now we're back on course again, looking down the new channel. And I want to make a right-hand turn as soon as I clear all these reefs and rocks and all kind of junk that's in here, and head for the west tip of Speeden Island. Some people call it Speeden, some call it Speeden. Just depends on how you hold your mouth, I guess. This is an interesting island. It used to have a exotic animal ranch on it. Now this side of the island, as you can see, is all forest. But the other side is barren. It's just like it has grass and scrub growing on it, but it's just like a desert environment. We're looking, as we get towards the tip of Speeden Island, we're looking out into the Harrow Strait and all the way down the Harrow Strait, across the Strait of Juan de Fuca, back to the Olympic Peninsula. This area, when you get out there, it's just a huge inland sea, and it can be a very, very dangerous place. Decided to do this one in real time rather than speed it up. It's not going to be too long. We're headed for Roche Harbor for fuel and supplies. And we pass the tip of Speeden Island here. And we'll get lined up on the entrance to Roche Harbor, which is still quite a few miles across there, and we'll be going across the confluence of the San Juan Channel and the Harrow Strait. It's a pretty fair-sized stretch of open water, so once we get past the island and I get lined up and we can see where the Roche Harbor is, I'm going to cut off the camera and save a little camera time. And also, you see, we're starting to get swells that come all the way in from the Pacific Ocean. They'll come all the way down the strait, and they will come up the Harrow Strait. for quite a ways, almost all the way up to Boundary Pass. Very calm day today, but still we have some little ocean swells making it all the way in from the Pacific. Now I'm getting her lined up on Roche Harbor, and the entrance to Roche Harbor is between those two small peaks, just slightly to the left of the bow. Now I'm getting the bow pretty much pointed right at where the entrance is, and you might be able to see some the white of some of the boats in the marina in there through the little slot. The larger slot is over to the right between Henry Island and Pearl Island, and this slot is between Pearl Island and San Juan Island. This is the smaller of the two entrances, so it's favored by small boaters. The bigger guys usually use the other entrance because it's much bigger and much deeper. Now I'm going to skip and we'll go to the harbor entrance. Okay, we're now approaching the entrance to Roche Harbor on the western end of San Juan Island. We're passing between Pearl Island on the right and San Juan Island on the left. You can see some of the boats starting to appear. There's a huge, huge marina in Roche Harbor, where a lot of the boats that stay in the San Juans year-round are stationed. Not my favorite place. Roche Harbor has a tendency to be inhabited by great quantities of millionaire bourgeois enemies of the proletariat and plastic yuppie fashion boaters. But it does have a good fuel stop and a pretty decent little store, so you can get groceries and supplies. They even have, to cater to the boaters, they have frozen meat in sealed packages, which is, that stuff is solid gold. Matter of fact, all the groceries are. When you go in that grocery store, it's a great little store as long as you don't look at the prices. There's a whole bunch of buoys out there in the bay so people can anchor out there and dinghy in, because it's such a popular stop that there's just not enough pier space for all of them. They also have public showers, which were pretty ratty when I was up here the previous time, but they have been completely rebuilt, and they're really very nice now. You just feed quarters in the slot and you can get yourself a nice hot shower. This is a speed limit zone here, so I'm down at greatly reduced speed. You don't set up a wake and bang all the boats against the piers. Just seems like it takes forever to get in here. I used to land on the low grassy spot up there. They got really pissed at me once when I jumped out of the boat and dug my stern anchor into their manicured lawn. So I'm headed for the fuel dock. A great big old catamaran yacht off to the right hand side there. Boy, that's a big one for a cat. A lot of money floating around those piers. Okay, we're turning in between the piers, and a good chunk of the pier on the left is temporary guest moorage. Roche Harbor also has a restaurant, which I think is greatly overpriced and really not all that good. But you pay for the privilege of being seen there, I guess. Also, up on the hill, you can see there is a little tiny church, and I mean, man, you don't realize how tiny it is until you actually go up there and step inside. It's very, very tiny, but it actually is a functioning Catholic church, and has regular services and the whole 9 yards if you're into that sort of thing. This time of day, you can see there are a lot of nice empty slots at the guest pier. Make a little course correction and kind of get lined up here and make my approach to the fuel dock and try to leave some room for Karen and Ingrid because they're chugging along right behind me in their boat. Okay, got the spot picked out. Crew's just in front of that big ocean-going sailboat there. Well, that's a beauty. Monstrous yacht off to the left.
No, I didn't.
On final approach, bringing her into the fuel pier.
I'll run that. How you doing? Okay.
Thunk. That was a pretty good landing. Welcome to beautiful Roche Harbor. The little store is in the building off to the right up above the pier. And a little burger joint, which isn't too bad, unlike the restaurant or the bar.